In order to make a plan about what we can do about the triggers that lead us to stressful emotions and thoughts, we have to start by thinking through what we have control over and what we don't. We've called this sorting your spheres, because here we've drawn 3 spheres to represent what you can control in the green, what you can influence, implying you may not be able to control it, but you can likely have some effect on it. That's the yellow sphere. And what you cannot control or influence in that red sphere. Now, perhaps you're seeing bad news in this diagram because you see the biggest sphere as what you cannot control or influence. And if you just need to let that soak in for a minute, let it. We are significant individual creatures in the world, but relatively we are small, and the world is large. And the hurricane of opportunities and challenges that come at us will be, at times, numberless. So yes, along with positively believing that we can achieve almost anything, we've got to make peace with the fact that we can't achieve everything. And getting a clearer view of this perspective can really help us. The positive take on this, there is a lot that can be fit within that green sphere, maybe even more than we think. It's helpful if we can see our caregiving activities, particularly the triggering events we identified in the last step of the activity that we did. We want to see those events and activities spread across the 3 spheres. There are some things that we can control, some activities and events that we can just influence but not control, and there are absolutely things we cannot control at all. If you made a list earlier in step 3 of triggering events, look back at that list. Where do those events fit in these 3 spheres? I shared earlier that one of the stress triggering events in my caregiving was leaving the situation to go to work. I would feel all sorts of concern and worry as I would leave my mom's home, especially if I'd been there for a weekend or a few days, to go back to my home, my work, and the other parts of my life. I would start to worry and fret and wonder, just knowing that much and looking at these 3 spheres, is what I described just now something I could control or something I could only influence but not control, or would it be something totally out of my control? Well, we're all in different situations, and that was a while ago for my life. But from where I sit today, it was probably something that was in the yellow sphere, something I could not directly control because I had made clear commitments to myself and others, including my employer, that I had to fulfill. I couldn't stay with my mom full time. But I could certainly influence the situation for good. I had nearly full decision-making authority about who was providing care in my absence, and I could do a lot to prepare those who would be providing that care, giving them checklists and schedules, references or resources for help, tools to help or monitor. And while it was very important to realize that I couldn't completely control the care in my absence, and I had to own that and be okay with it, I also benefited greatly by coming to know what I could influence and being okay with that too. So I want you to just take a moment and look at the list of triggering events from step 3, or maybe even pause here and make a longer list of events, activities or scenarios, worries, concerns, maybe even people who lead to the increased caregiving burdens and challenges you feel. And then take a minute and sort your spheres. Put your list of items and events into the appropriate sphere. Which ones are controllable? Which ones are just influenceable? And which ones are neither? You won't get a comprehensive list built today. In fact, it may take you several weeks revisiting this activity to build a more full picture. But spend some time thinking about it now and start the list now. When you're ready, the next segment will share a couple examples of how caregivers have sorted their spheres. And then you'll be given another space of time to work and reflect on your personal situation.